Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why some people seem to make incredible progress while others stay stuck in the same place year after year? It isn't because they have more talent. It isn't because they have more time. And it certainly isn't because life is easier for them. The difference is simple. They learned to focus on one thing while everyone else was distracted by everything. Have you ever noticed that the people who achieve extraordinary success aren't necessarily the smartest, the richest, or the most talented? They simply know something that most people ignore. They understand that focus is the one skill capable of multiplying every other skill they possess. Talent without focus fades away. Intelligence without focus becomes wasted potential. Hard work without focus turns into endless exhaustion. If you truly want to change your life, stop asking how to do more and start asking how to concentrate on what matters most. That single shift can change your future forever. The modern world is designed to pull your attention in 100 different directions every single day. The moment you wake up, your phone demands your attention. Notifications compete for your mind. Social media offers endless distractions. People expect immediate responses. New opportunities appear every hour, making you feel as though you're missing out if you don't chase all of them. But here's the truth that separates high performers from everyone else. Every distraction you accept silently steals time from the dream you're trying to build. The greatest cost of distraction isn't lost minutes, it's the life you could have created if you had protected your focus. Think about a magnifying glass under the sun. Sunlight spreads everywhere, and you barely notice its power. But when that same light is concentrated into one tiny point, it becomes powerful enough to create fire. Your mind works exactly the same way when your energy is scattered across dozens of goals, projects, and distractions. Your progress becomes slow and inconsistent. But when every thought, every action, and every hour is directed toward one meaningful objective, you become unstoppable. Focus transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Many people believe success comes from doing more. They fill every hour of their day with activity, believing that being busy means they're making progress. They answer emails, attend meetings, scroll through endless information, start new projects, and constantly switch between tasks. At the end of the day, they're exhausted, yet they feel as though nothing meaningful has been accomplished. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Motion is not the same as progress. Real achievement comes from giving your best energy to the work that moves your life forward instead of spreading yourself thin across everything that demands your attention. The most successful people in every field understand this principle better than anyone else. They don't become exceptional because they try to master everything. They become exceptional because they commit themselves completely to mastering one thing at a time. They eliminate unnecessary choices. They build routines that protect their priorities. They learn to say no to good opportunities so they can say yes to the greatest opportunity. That level of discipline isn't restrictive, it creates freedom. The more clearly you know what deserves your attention, the less energy you waste deciding where your effort should go. Here's a question that deserves your complete honesty. What is the one goal that would change your life if you committed to it for the next 12 months without quitting? Imagine what could happen if you invested one focused hour every day into developing that skill, growing that business, improving your health, writing that book, or building your future. Day after day, week after week, those small investments will begin to compound. Progress would no longer depend on luck. It would become the natural result of consistent focus. Most people underestimate the incredible power of repetition because they expect dramatic results overnight. They become impatient when success doesn't arrive immediately. They switch directions too quickly, convinced that something else must be easier. They never stay in one place long enough to experience the rewards of persistence. Every time they change course, they start over from the beginning. Meanwhile, the person who remains committed continues gaining experience, confidence, and momentum. Success doesn't usually belong to the fastest person. It belongs to the one who refuses to abandon the path. There will always be voices telling you to chase the newest trend, the quickest shortcut, or the next exciting opportunity. There will always be people who question your commitment or fail to understand your vision. Don't let their uncertainty become your distraction. Every meaningful achievement requires the courage to ignore the noise and remain faithful to your purpose. The world rewards people who can stay focused long after everyone else has lost interest. The quality of your life will always reflect the quality of your attention. Whatever you consistently focus on becomes stronger. If you focus on excuses, your limitations will grow. If you focus on problems, your fears will expand. But if you focus on learning, improving, and taking action every single day, your confidence, skills, and opportunities will grow beyond what you once believed was possible. The direction of your focus determines the direction of your future. And every great success story begins the moment someone decides that one meaningful goal deserves their complete attention. What if I told you that the biggest obstacle standing between you and the life you've always dreamed of isn't a lack of talent, money, or opportunity? What if it's something so ordinary that you hardly notice it anymore? Every single day, countless distractions quietly steal pieces of your future. And the most dangerous part is that they never announce themselves as enemies. They arrive disguised as harmless entertainment, quick breaks, endless scrolling, unnecessary conversations, or opportunities that seem exciting but have nothing to do with your real purpose. Before you realize it, another day has passed, and the dream you promised yourself is still waiting while distractions continue to win. Success is rarely destroyed by one major mistake. More often, it is slowly eroded by hundreds of small distractions that seem insignificant in the moment. 5 minutes on social media turns into an hour. One unnecessary video becomes an entire evening. One excuse becomes a habit, and habits eventually become your lifestyle. You don't lose your future in a single dramatic event. You lose it one distraction at a time. That's why protecting your attention is one of the most important responsibilities you will ever have. Your attention is your greatest investment, and wherever you place it, your future follows. The world has never been more connected, yet people have never been more distracted. Every notification competes for your attention. Every trending topic demands your opinion. Every advertisement promises a shortcut. Every new opportunity convinces you that you're missing something better. The problem isn't that these things exist. The problem is allowing them to control where your energy goes. Every moment spent reacting to everything around you is a moment you're not creating the life you truly want. Highly successful people understand that attention is a limited resource. They don't give it away freely because they know it directly influences the quality of their results. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water while there are dozens of holes in the bottom. No matter how much water you pour in, the bucket never fills because it keeps leaking. That's exactly what distractions do to your potential. You can work hard, stay motivated, and have incredible dreams. But if your attention constantly leaks into things that don't matter, you'll never experience the progress you're capable of achieving. The solution isn't always working harder. Sometimes the answer is simply closing the holes by removing the distractions that quietly drain your time, energy, and focus. One of the greatest myths people believe is that multitasking makes them more productive. In reality, constantly switching between tasks forces your brain to restart over and over again, reducing the quality of your thinking and slowing your progress. Every interruption has a hidden cost because it takes time to regain deep concentration. That's why extraordinary performers protect uninterrupted time with almost obsessive discipline. They know that deep focus creates deep results, while constant interruptions produce average outcomes. Here's a question that deserves an honest answer. If someone secretly recorded how you spent the last 7 days, would your daily actions prove that you're serious about your biggest goal? Or would they reveal the distractions that become more important than your dreams? That question isn't meant to create guilt. It's meant to create awareness. Awareness is where transformation begins. You cannot change what you refuse to recognize. The moment you become honest about where your attention goes is the moment you regain control of your future. Every successful person has learned a powerful lesson. Saying yes to everything means saying no to excellence. Every unnecessary commitment steals time from meaningful work. Every pointless argument steals emotional energy. Every distraction delays the person you're capable of becoming. Learning to say no is not about rejecting opportunities, it's about protecting your purpose. Every time you refuse something that doesn't align with your mission, you're making room for something that truly matters. Your future isn't built during the moments when you're comfortable, it's built during the moments when you choose discipline over distraction, purpose over entertainment, and long-term success over short-term pleasure. The people who eventually achieve extraordinary things aren't stronger than everyone else. They simply train themselves to guard their focus with determination. They understand that every hour is a vote for the person they will become. And they refuse to waste those votes on things that offer temporary satisfaction, but permanent regret. The life you've imagined is not waiting on the other side of another distraction. It's waiting on the other side of sustained focus, intentional action, and the courage to protect your attention every single day. Every distraction you eliminate creates more space for growth. Every focused decision moves you closer to your goals. Every disciplined action strengthens your confidence. The moment you stop allowing distractions to control your time is the moment you begin taking complete ownership of your future, because the greatest dreams are always built by people who understand that their attention is far too valuable to be spent on anything that doesn't move them forward. What separates the people who only dream about success from those who actually achieve it? Is it intelligence? Is it talent? Is it luck? The answer may surprise you. The greatest difference isn't found in extraordinary gifts. It's found in extraordinary consistency. Success doesn't belong to the person who works the hardest for one day. It belongs to the person who keeps showing up with the same level of commitment long after the excitement has disappeared. If you can stay consistent on one mission while everyone else keeps changing direction, you immediately place yourself ahead of the majority. The world celebrates dramatic success stories, but it rarely sees the quiet days that created them. It sees the successful business, but not the years of learning, failure, and persistence that came before it. It applauds the athlete standing on the podium, but ignores the thousands of mornings they trained when no one was watching. It admires the confident speaker on stage without recognizing the countless hours spent practicing behind closed doors. Every remarkable achievement has one thing in common. Someone committed to the same mission day after day, even when there were no guarantees of success. Here's a powerful truth you need to remember. Consistency is what turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Anyone can feel motivated for a weekend. Anyone can be excited when something is new, but very few people continue working when progress feels slow, when obstacles appear, or when nobody notices their efforts. That is the moment where futures are decided. Winners don't quit because the journey becomes difficult. They understand that difficult seasons are part of the process, not proof that the process isn't working. Too many people mistake temporary setbacks for permanent failure. They expect every effort to produce immediate rewards. And when those rewards don't appear quickly enough, they begin questioning themselves. They jump from one goal to another, convinced that success must exist somewhere else. But every time they abandon their mission, they also abandon the momentum they were building. Success isn't usually delayed because people lack ability. It's delayed because they stop too soon. They plant seeds but never stay long enough to enjoy the harvest. Think about a river flowing toward the ocean. It doesn't stop because a rock blocks its path. It doesn't turn around because the journey becomes difficult. It continues moving, carving through mountains, finding new directions, and shaping the landscape through persistent pressure. That is exactly how consistency works. Every focused action may seem small on its own, but repeated over weeks, months, and years, those actions become powerful enough to transform your life. Greatness isn't built through one extraordinary performance. It is built through thousands of ordinary actions repeated with extraordinary discipline. Ask yourself an honest question. What would happen if you committed to improving by just 1% every single day? That improvement might seem insignificant at first, but over time, it compounds into something remarkable. Small victories create confidence. Confidence creates momentum. Momentum creates discipline. Discipline creates results. The people who eventually reach the highest level aren't always making giant leaps. They're making consistent steps that others underestimate because the progress seems too slow to notice. There will be days when you don't feel inspired. There will be mornings when your goals seem distant and your energy feels low. Those are the moments that define your character. Anyone can move forward when they feel motivated. But champions continue moving when motivation disappears. They rely on habits instead of emotions. They trust their routines more than their moods. They understand that feelings change every day, but commitment must remain constant. The strongest people are not controlled by how they feel in the moment. They are guided by the vision they have for the future. One mission deserves your full attention because scattered effort produces scattered results. Every time you switch priorities without giving your current mission enough time to grow, you reset your progress. Imagine climbing halfway up a mountain, then deciding to climb another one because it looks easier. Before long, You spent years climbing many mountains without ever reaching the top of any of them. The people who achieve extraordinary success are those who choose their mountain carefully and refuse to stop climbing until they reach the summit. Remember that every single day is another opportunity to strengthen your future. Every focused hour is an investment. Every disciplined decision is a brick placed in the foundation of your success. While others chase instant gratification, you build lasting achievement. While others search for shortcuts, you master the fundamentals. While others quit because the results aren't immediate, you continue showing up with patience and purpose. That unwavering consistency becomes your greatest competitive advantage, because the world always rewards those who remain faithful to one meaningful mission long enough to transform potential into excellence. How many opportunities have you chased that looked exciting but ultimately led nowhere? How many times have you convinced yourself that the next idea, the next project, or the next shortcut would finally be the one that changed everything? Here's the reality that most people never want to hear. Chasing everything is the fastest way to accomplish nothing. The greatest enemy of success is not failure. It is divided attention. Every time you scatter your energy across too many goals, you weaken your ability to make meaningful progress in any one of them. The moment you decide to go all in on what truly matters is the moment your life begins to move in a completely different direction. Look at the people who built extraordinary lives. They didn't become exceptional because they accepted every opportunity that came their way. They became exceptional because they developed the courage to ignore everything that didn't align with their purpose. They understood that saying yes to one meaningful mission required saying no to countless distractions. That decision wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Success has always demanded sacrifice. Every significant achievement is built on the willingness to let go of good options so you can pursue the greatest one with everything you have. One of the biggest reasons people remain stuck is because they confuse opportunity with obligation. They believe they must accept every invitation, respond to every message, explore every business idea, learn every new trend, and keep every possible door open. In reality, every unnecessary commitment steals time from the one commitment that could truly transform your future. Time is limited. Energy is limited. Mental focus is limited. The more directions you pull yourself in, the less power you have to excel in the direction that matters most. Imagine trying to dig 10 wells at the same time. You dig a little here, then move somewhere else. A few days later, you switch to another location. Weeks pass, and despite all your effort, you still don't have water because every hole is too shallow. Now imagine digging one well with complete determination until you reach the source. That is the difference between scattered effort and focused commitment. Success belongs to the person who digs deep, not the person who keeps changing locations every time the work becomes difficult. There will always be another trend, another opportunity, another person telling you to take a different path. The world is full of noise, and if you allow every voice to influence your decisions, you'll spend your entire life chasing someone else's priorities instead of building your own future. Strong leaders don't allow public opinion to determine their direction. They know exactly what they're building, and they protect that vision with relentless discipline. Clarity gives you confidence, and confidence allows you to keep moving forward even when others question your choices. Ask yourself this powerful question. If you removed everything from your schedule except the one activity most likely to change your life, what would remain? That answer reveals your true priority. Now ask yourself another question. Does your daily routine reflect that priority, or is your time consumed by tasks that make you feel busy without bringing you closer to your goal? Your calendar tells the truth about your commitment. Your habits reveal what you value most. Dreams don't become reality because of what you say. They become reality because of what you repeatedly do. Going all in doesn't mean your journey will suddenly become easy. In fact, the moment you fully commit to one mission, challenges often become more visible. Doubts will appear. Progress may seem slow. There will be moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. Those are the moments that separate ordinary people from extraordinary achievers. The individuals who ultimately succeed aren't the ones who avoid difficulty. They're the ones who remain committed despite it. They understand that every obstacle is testing whether their desire is temporary or their commitment is permanent. When you dedicate your full energy to one meaningful purpose, something remarkable begins to happen. Your decisions become simpler because you know what deserves your attention. Your confidence grows because you're making measurable progress instead of starting over. Your skills improve because repetition creates mastery. Your momentum becomes stronger because every focused action builds. Upon the last one, what once felt impossible gradually becomes achievable, not because the goal changed, but because you changed through disciplined commitment. The world doesn't reward people who are interested in success only when it's convenient. It rewards those who become fully invested in their purpose. It rewards those who continue learning when others stop, who keep working when others become distracted, and who stay loyal to their vision long after the initial excitement has faded. The life you've imagined has never required you to do everything. It has always required you to identify what truly matters, give it your absolute best, and refuse to let temporary distractions pull you away from the future you are capable of creating. What is the very thing you've been waiting for is the reason you're still standing still. So many people tell themselves, I'll start when I feel motivated. They wait for the perfect morning, the perfect mood, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect moment. But here's the truth that separates high achievers from everyone else. Motivation is temporary, while discipline has the power to change your entire life. If your success depends on how you feel each day, your future will always be controlled by your emotions instead of your decisions. Extraordinary lives are not built by people who feel inspired every morning. They are built by people who take action, whether they feel like it or not. Think about the most successful individuals in any field. Do you believe they wake up every single day overflowing with excitement? Of course not. They experience doubt. They face disappointment. They have days when they're tired, frustrated, or mentally exhausted. The difference is simple. They never allow those feelings to decide whether they move forward. They have trained themselves to act according to their commitment rather than their emotions. That is the true definition of discipline. It is the ability to honor your goals even when your feelings try to convince you to quit. Motivation is powerful, but it is also unpredictable. One inspiring video can fill you with excitement for a few hours. A powerful speech can energize you for a day. Reading a great book may inspire you for a week. But eventually the excitement fades, reality returns, and the difficult work begins. This is where most people stop. They mistake the loss of motivation for a sign that something is wrong. In reality, nothing is wrong. You have simply reached the point where discipline must take over. Every successful person reaches this stage. The ones who continue are the ones who eventually win. Imagine an airplane preparing for takeoff. The greatest amount of fuel is used at the beginning because overcoming gravity requires tremendous effort. Once the aircraft reaches cruising altitude, maintaining its direction becomes much easier. Your personal growth follows the same pattern. Building discipline feels difficult in the beginning because you're fighting old habits, excuses, and comfort. Every early morning, every extra hour of practice, and every difficult decision demands effort. But over time, those disciplined actions become habits, and habits begin to carry you forward with less resistance. What once felt impossible gradually becomes your new normal. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week becomes next month. Before they realize it, years have passed without meaningful progress. Discipline destroys that cycle because disciplined people don't negotiate with excuses. They don't ask themselves whether they feel ready. They simply ask what needs to be done today, and then they do it. They understand that every small action completed today is another brick laid in the foundation of tomorrow's success. Ask yourself this question with complete honesty. If motivation disappeared from your life for the next 6 months, would your habits still move you toward your goals? If the answer is no, then your system depends too much on emotion and not enough on discipline. High performers build routines that make success inevitable. They don't rely on inspiration to exercise, learn, build their business, or improve their skills. They create schedules, establish standards, and protect those standards every single day. Their consistency is not accidental, it is intentionally designed. Discipline also strengthens something far more valuable than achievement. It builds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you send a powerful message to your mind. I am someone who follows through. That confidence cannot be purchased, borrowed, or given by another person. It is earned through repeated acts of integrity with yourself. Likewise, every time you break your promises, through unnecessary excuses, procrastination, or avoidance, You slowly weaken your trust in your own ability. The relationship you have with yourself is shaped by the actions you repeatedly choose. There will always be moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. There will be distractions that appear more enjoyable than your